Om Namo Narayanaya, which is peace mantra. Peace and protection for all human beings and all animal beings. Namaste, welcome everyone. Inhale deeply for Om. 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 Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Together. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Bring to mind someone to whom you'd like to send healing. Bring them into mind's eye. Visualize them. Offer the Om Namo Narayana Vishnu mantra to them. Namaste. Welcome, everybody. So today we're going to start with some standing Hasta Vinyasas. Hasta Vinyasas help to stretch the lungs, open the rib cage, prepare the body for breathing practices. Then we're going to do Kapalabhati with the Hasta Vinyasas, the 3 different arm positions. Then we're going to do Nadi Shodhana, the alternate nostril breathing. Then I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction to Tratak meditation, and then we're going to practice Tratak. Tratak can be used to lead into deep meditation. So we'll move from the Tratak meditation to deep meditation. And then when we come out of the deep meditation, we'll close with the Om Namo Narayana chant again. So that's the practice for today. So the first thing we're going to do is stand up and stand in Tadasana. Stagger yourselves a little bit on your mats. If you're at home and you don't have a candle ready for Tratak meditation, if you missed my message today, grab yourself a candle or a tea light and set it up so it will be at eye level for you. Standing Tadasana, feet together, heels slightly apart. Shoulders back and down, chest up, chin down. Gaze into the center of the chest, just in front of your spine, the pranasthana, the seat of prana in the body. Lift all your toes up and spread your toes out. And then place your feet on the floor. Feel the connection to the earth. Lift up through the inseams of your legs, through your perineum. Lengthen through your spine. Lengthen into the top of your skull. And then very slightly bring your chin down and drop your gaze again into the heart. Begin the Ujjayi breathing with a slight constriction in the base of your throat. But feel that the sound actually begins and returns to the center of the chest. The constriction is the base of the throat, but the sound of the breath is more in the chest. Then moving slowly with awareness. On the inhale, raise the arms wide and overhead. Interlock your fingers and lift. Push your feet down, lift into the palms of your hands and feel your rib cage lift. Exhale, slowly widen down. Again, inhale, widen overhead. Keep the chin down, keep looking into the heart. Lift. Exhale, widen down. One more. Pause a little more at the top this time, stretch a little more. Slowly down on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. Look hard. Same thing, inhale, widen overhead. Change the interlock of your fingers this time as you push the hands towards the ceiling. On the exhale, bring the thumbs to the back of your neck. Keep the palms facing up, elbows really wide, fingers interlock. Inhale, push the hands to the ceiling. Stretch a little more, chin on the chest. Exhale, bring the thumbs to the back of the neck. And keep exhaling this time until your lungs are empty. Hold the breath out. Lift the perineum. Let the lower abdomen float in and up. Chin on the chest. Release the bandhas. Inhale, push the hands to the ceiling. Exhale, widen down on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. Inhale, widen overhead, flip your palms. Just all different Hasta Vinyasas, arm positions to open the lungs in slightly different ways. And exhale, cross the hands behind you and bring the hands to the opposite shoulder blade. The chin goes all the way down till it touches your sternum if possible. The end of the movement, hold the breath out. And then inhale, interlock your fingers, push the hands to the ceiling. Lift, lift, lift. Exhale, slowly down, and try to keep that extra bit of length in your spine and stretch in your rib cage. And again, inhale, widen overhead. Flip the palms, and then cross the arms the other way round, other arm first. And this time, go all the way to the end of the breath. Keep exhaling, keep exhaling. When you're empty, chin to chest, perineum, lower abdomen in and up, Mahabandha. Release the bandhas, inhale, push the hands to the ceiling. Slowly, exhale, widen down. And then inhale, bring the arms forward and up, palms face forward. Go to the end of the movement, stretch up. Really bring the chin down as you stretch more through the back of the lungs. Very slowly, exhale, come down. Inhale, arms up, chin down, push inseams of the feet down, stretch. Exhale, slowly down. Third vinyasa, inhale up. Exhale, don't move. Inhale. Hold the breath in on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, widen up, interlock your fingers. Try to remember to keep changing the interlock of your fingers. Exhale, lean to the right, push the hips to the left, equal weight in both feet, look straight ahead, Tratak, horizon line. Inhale, center, chin down, lift more. Exhale, left, look straight ahead. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Push the hips to the left. Keep top shoulder back. Gently gaze at the horizon line. Take a short inhale there. Don't move. Take a long exhale. At the end of the exhale, hold the breath out. Mula Uddiyana Bandha. Release banders, inhale to center. Exhale left. Hips to the right, ground the inseam of your right foot. Short inhale. Long exhale. When you get to the end of the exhale, bandhas, perineum, narrow the waist. And then release bandhas when you're ready and inhale to center. And we'll meet in Tadasana. And just to release the back, inhale, arms widen overhead, flip your palms. You can also do this with a prayer over the heart if you have any back issues. And then exhale, just keep moving your hips back until your spine is parallel with the floor and your chin's on your chest. Your legs are strong, your lower abdomen's in. And on the inhale, slowly come up, keep your chin down and arch back. And then exhale, same thing, go halfway. Hips back, pause. Move the chest away from the sit bones. Inhale, come up, arch back. Exhale, go down halfway. Don't move. Inhale, arms wide like wings. Don't move, keep halfway down. Exhale, arms forward, flip the palms. Inhale, arms wide like wings. Move the chest forward, move the hips back. Good. Exhale forward, flip the palms. Stretch, chin down, your chin's on your chest, you're looking into your navel, Uddiyana Bandha. And then inhale, slowly come up, arch back. Chin down, Marina. Exhale, Tadasana. Okay. Inhale, bring the arms shoulder level, palms down. Chin down, look navel. Exhale, squat halfway. Thighs no more than parallel with the floor. More weight in the heels, keep the chest up. Inhale, come up. Good. This time exhale, go all the way down, the heels may rise. Try and keep the feet together. Good. Stay there. Inhale. Exhale. Then as you inhale, just slowly push the knees forward and kneel down. You can put your hands on the floor if you want. Come into a kneeling position, good. So that's a vinyasa you can use to get to kneeling. You eventually do it without putting the hands down. Sitting in a kneeling position, make yourself comfortable. We're going to do Kapalabhati in Vajrasan, kneeling. Do whatever you need, make yourself comfortable in a kneeling position. Peter, can you sit on a block on that so your hips are the same height as your knees? Please. Okay, Kapalabhati, 3 rounds with Hasta Vinyasas. If you're not sure about or familiar with Kapalabhati, then just do full yogic breathing with the Ujjayi sound and do the hand gestures. First hand gesture is Chin Mudra. First finger to the thumb. Chest is up, chin is down, eyes are closed, look nabi, navel. Keep the gaze in the navel. And then exhale, empty your lungs. Take a little shallow inhale to begin. Hex, 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 hex. Exhale completely. Inhale, fill your lungs. And exhale completely. These few smooth breaths in between rounds of Kapalabhati are very important. Take one more breath like that. And if you're not sure how to do Kapalabhati, don't attempt it. You just do smooth, deep breathing. I can help you with it at the end. You can come and see me. Second, vinyasa. Inhale, arms widen over the head. And just like we did in the Hasta Vinyasas at the beginning, try when you lift up to feel your rib cage lift and your lungs stretch. Get as high as you can, and then on an exhale, bring your chin down to your sternum without letting your arms come forward. Keep your arms back. Look, navel, eyes closed, a little shallow inhale to begin. Count 36 expulsions. Force rather than speed. Try to keep your face and your rib cage still. It's all right in the lower abdomen, pubic abdomen. When you've done 36, push your hands to the ceiling and slowly bring your hands back onto your knees. Take your time, no rush. And then take 3 full yogic breaths, nice and smooth, nice and deep, long exhalations. When you're ready, bring the hands back over the head, interlock the fingers. And then this time, cross the hands again behind your back, covering the opposite shoulder blade as much as you can. Arms crossed behind the back. Chin down, gaze navel, Nadi. And then take a normal inhale, long exhale, then a short inhale to begin, and do 36 more. Three rounds of 36, 108. 108 major nadis flow from the heart. Try to keep moving the elbows back so you feel the stretch in the upper apices of the lungs. And when you're done, push the hands to the ceiling, try and touch the ceiling, stretch. And slowly on the exhale, bring the hands back to the knees. And then take a couple of deep, full yogic breaths. If you need to change your position to cross-legged now for Nadi Shodhana, then feel free. Otherwise, you can stay where you are. Okay, so in an ideal world, what you would do in your practice is you would finish the last round of Kapalabhati, or whatever Kapalabhati you're doing. You would bring your hands to Chin Mudra. You would take a couple of deep breaths, and then without pause, you would bring your right hand to Vishnu Mudra. exhale, and then inhale left. So the gap between the end of the Kapalabhati and the beginning of the Nadi Shodhana should be as seamless as possible. And if you're really familiar with Kapalabhati, it could just be one breath, one full yogic breath, and then on the second breath, you can go straight to the Nadi Shodhana, the alternate nostril breathing. But in the beginning, you might need to take a few breaths just to feel that you're settled and the breath is steady again, and then you begin the Nadi Shodhana. Okay? So the two things go together. Clear? Good. You'll feel it works really well when you can do that seamless transition, and the kind of like the pranayama works better. Especially when you're starting to add retentions to the pranayama because of the oxygenation of the body and blood that you've created in the Kapalabhati. Suddenly the retention of breath becomes a lot easier because your nervous system isn't sort of going, I need to breathe. You kind of, the body is well oxygenated, makes it much easier to hold the breath. I know we're not doing that in the class at the moment, but for those of you who are doing that sort of practice, it makes a big difference. So now we're going to move into Nadi Shodhana, and I just want you to remember all the things that we've worked on this term. So first thing in Nadi Shodhana is, in the Vishnu Mudra, the fingers remain in constant contact with the nasal flesh. And the idea is, as you're doing the Nadi Shodhana, remember that you only partially open and close the nasal passage. So when the air goes in, there's no sound in the throat. But there might be, if you listen really carefully, a little bit of sound due to the restriction in the nostril when the breath comes in and when the breath comes out. But even if you don't hear that, keep the nasal passage slightly restricted. Not to the point where you have to strain, but to the point where the passage of the air is slowed down. Remember that? So you're doing that. And then the other thing you're doing is Marmasthana. So as you're inhaling, you're flicking the gaze from the nose to the third eye, to the soft palate, to the navel, to the perineum. And then before you go to the perineum, you're inhaling, and as you retain the breath, in that pause where the breath is retained, at that moment you lift the prana to the heart. And then you exhale. Do not move the prana from the perineum to the heart when you're breathing. You move the prana in the pauses between breaths. And then when you exhale, you keep the gaze in the heart. I'm going to talk you through the first couple of rounds, just to remind you, but then I'm going to leave you to do it by yourselves. So just remember that. You inhale and you go down through the mamas to the perineum, and then it's just both nostrils closed, retain. And in that retention, you just draw the prana straight up the Sushumna Nadi heart space. And then you fully exhale, looking into the heart. And then before you begin the inhale, you switch the gaze to the nose tip in that pause. And then when you begin the breath, you're immediately there. You're immediately working back down through the mamas. Does that make sense? Okay. Final thing we added was last week was Mulabandha. Remember? No? Anybody remember? Yeah. Mulabandha. What is Mulabandha? It's a very, very gentle connection to the center of the pelvic floor, the perineum. Okay? And I'm asking you, it takes time, but to think about doing that for the whole of the pranayama. It will later connect to another a mudra, or a bandha, jiva bandha, which we do with the tongue, which moves the prana up the spine. But at the moment, you're just starting to cultivate stage one, which is Mulabandha. Now, I had a question about this in the week. Somebody said that they're finding it difficult to do the practice holding Mulabandha all the time, which is, remember we did that moving forward, sitting down and moving back last week to locate the contraction in the center of the pelvic floor at the perineum? Remember we did that? Well, when we did that, that point at which you feel, sometimes when you're doing asana, that can be quite it can be a more muscular contraction initially. You feel it in a more of a muscular way. In pranayama, you don't do it in a muscular way. Because this person was saying that they're doing it and they find it difficult to hold, and they could feel that it was creating tension in their buttocks. That's too much. It should be more energetic, more subtle, more like the prana is an energy thing. It's just more energetic. It's just a feeling of lightness, an idea of lightness, a gesture of lightness in the pelvic floor. It is not a muscular contraction. Clear? Mm-hmm. Don't contract your anus. Okay, and so that needs to be clear. But when that happens, there's another thing which combines with it. So when the perineum is on, if I'm sitting like this and the perineum is on, there's no tone in the transverse abdominis. There's no control there. It's just loose. But if, when I sit, my chest is rolled up, like almost in a false inhale, like this, and the back of the neck is long, and I bring the chin not like this, but I bring the chin back and down, so I'm in this kind of position throughout the pranayama, so I can still breathe freely, but my chest is up and my chin is down. That engages the hyoid, which goes down and it connects to the transverse abdominis. And so without using any muscular contraction, the combination of the lift in the kind of gesture in the perineum and the shape of the body, the lifting of the chest, the drawing of the head back and down, it keeps the area of the pubic abdomen and the perineum connected throughout the pranayama with no muscular contraction. It's a natural extension of the posture and the gesture of being aware of Mula Bandha. Yes? Maybe? So this is something to practice. Mm-hmm. Do you understand, though, the concept? Okay. So even if you end up just doing one of those things a day, that's fine. It takes time. It's a kind of, it's like just learning to do something, like playing the oboe or something. It doesn't take 5 minutes. Okay? Come into your seat position. Left hand chin mudra. Right hand Vishnu mudra. First 2 fingers to the palm. Going to use ring finger and thumb. Bring the hand into position, touching the nasal flesh, head facing forward, and then lift your chest up as you push your sit bones down. Bring your chin slightly back and down, like a half Jalandhara Bandha. Close your eyes. Exhale completely through both nostrils. No J sound in the throat. Inhale through the partially closed left nostril. Look nose tip, third eye, soft palate, navel, perineum. Retain. Look heart. Exhale through the partially closed right nostril. Inhale right, look nose tip, third eye, soft palate, navel, perineum, retain. Look heart. Exhale left, keep looking heart. Switch to nose tip, inhale, nose tip, third eye, soft palate, navel, perineum, retain. Feel the tone in the perineum. Look heart. Exhale right. And now continue in your own time. If doing all those things at once, haven't been practicing much and it makes you feel stressful, go back to the first thing, just breathing in left, breathing out right, breathing in right, breathing out left. And if you're doing that without flicking the gaze to the marma points, just keep your gaze rested gently in your heart space. That's very good. I can't hear any throat ujjayi breathing, which is a good sign. Try to get into a rhythm and then just really relax when you're doing it. Keep the upper palate dropped, the soft palate released. Keep the eyes relaxed. The thing that tends to go first is the chest will drop. Keep trying to, when you lift the chest, do it by pushing your sit bones down. Keep that length in your spine for the prana to move freely in the spine. Try to have the thumb and the ring finger just above the bulb of the nose, where the narrowest point of the nostril is, and not too high, not really near the bridge of the nose, just at the above the bulb of the nose. Don't push too hard on the nose, just enough to seal the nostril when you need to. Be conscious the head isn't turning to the right. Try to keep the head central. Keep your shoulders relaxed. You need to stop and rest at any point, feel free. The next time you exhale through your left nostril, release the hand to chin mudra and sit very still. Your awareness in your heart with your eyes closed. Just observe how you feel in your body and mind after the pranayama. Deepen your breath. And then when you're ready, find a comfortable seat. Okay, does anybody have questions or observations about that practice? Okay, shall I make a few observations? Yes, Paul.
Between sitting cross-legged and kneeling.
Say again.
Would you recommend alternating between sitting cross-legged and kneeling?
Yes. Do I recommend alternating between cross-legged and kneeling? Yes, if you are in pain. So the fundamental rule is if you're sitting and you're in pain, there's no point. You just have to move. And you just gradually over the years, it might take years, it gets easier. But you just have to move. If you're in discomfort, the same applies in meditation. If you actually move into pain, real discomfort, just feel free to move and then just come back to the practice. Now, kneeling is a really great way to do meditation or pranayama. It works particularly well for Kapalabhati because it's one of the easiest postures to keep a natural spine in. And also kneeling is really good if you have knee injuries. Sitting on some blocks is a good way to do it. If you're sitting cross-legged, you shouldn't be sitting with one leg on top of the other. I think we did all this on the first class, but just to make clear, you should never sit like this. I mean, you can sit like this, it's free country, but I'm not sure that's actually true. But you know what I'm saying? Sitting like this is kind of a problem because it holds the knees out. So, but there's several things you can do if you're sitting cross-legged and you get uncomfortable. If you're feeling discomfort in your knees, then you should be sitting cross-legged with blocks under your knees, so that the weight of the legs isn't pulling on the knee joint, but the legs are supported. Blocks here make it much more comfortable. But ideally, don't sit in Sukhasana. Sukha means easy, but it's the most difficult way to sit because it makes your back ache, because it puts your knees higher than your hips. The moment your knees are higher than your hips, then your back's going to ache because you're going to use your back muscles to keep your spine straight. So you're always trying to have one foot in front of the other with the knees wider. So this is the first stage to go to, and the only way you can do that is to rotate the shin bone down and the sole of the foot up. So the rotation is coming from my hips, and my hips are rotating forward. That finds the front edge of my sit bones, and then my spine is in a natural position. And then, so you can move from this to this, and then the other thing you can do in a cross-legged position is to actually just keep changing your legs. That's the first most basic thing to do to release tension in the hips and the knees. So if you're feeling tension when you're just sitting for your pranayama, you'll find that you've got a predominant leg that you always put in first, you know? And so the first thing you do is you just move one foot out and you switch feet. And that might give you another 5 minutes, another 10 minutes without having to make a major adjustment. Because the more major the adjustment, the more it's going to disturb the pranayama and the meditation. Does that make sense? But try and just, you should be seeing like this as much as possible in your daily life. Don't sit in chairs all the time. Chairs are a really bad idea. Sit on the floor as much as you can. Squat as much as you can. Kneel as much as you can. It's really good for your hips, your spine, everything. Yeah?
Is there any additional benefit for sitting in lotus Padmasana as opposed to this position that you're currently
Yes. Yes, there is. If you're comfortable in lotus, then you sit in lotus.
Is that related to the position of your pelvis?
It's related to the position of the pelvis and also the effect it has on the cerebral spinal fluid and the way that it nods the sacrum. And that helps with the movement of energy, prana, in the spine. And the only thing I'd say about lotus is, you can also like to cultivate lotus, feel free to use half lotus. It doesn't have to be the full thing. And then just keep changing legs and then you'll end up in lotus. But if you're going to be in lotus, you've got to be able to sit there comfortably. And what I see a lot with lotus is sitting in lotus, but the knees are too wide. In lotus, the knees want to be really close together so that when you're in lotus, there shouldn't be a deep crease in the ankle joint. This is not lotus with the foot, the top of the foot on the leg, and this deep angle in the ankle joint, because after a while you just get a lot of pain in your ankles and the knees are too wide. So lotus is a very closed knee posture. And the feet, you see people who can do it really comfortably, the feet are up here, kind of like with the toes sticking out beyond the thigh, and the knees are really close together. So if you can sit like that, lotus is the best position. It's the classic position for pranayama meditation.
Your bottom foot then under the left.
Yeah, that was half lotus. Going into lotus is not something I do until I've warmed up. And you have to really be careful of your knees. If you think you have the movement and you want to know how to go in and out of lotus properly, then come and see me and I'll show you techniques to make it really easy to get into and safe to get into. It's not something you just sort of yank yourself into. Because I've seen a lot of knee injuries with lotus. Anything else? Okay, so then I observed a couple of things. Fingers aren't right up here on the bridge of the nose, and fingers aren't right down here on the bottom of the nose. They're just above this bulbous bit here where the nasal passage is narrow. And it's almost like your fingers, like it gives a little shelf. Well, it does on my nose, I don't know about yours, but it almost like gives you a little shelf to rest your fingers on where this bulb of the nose is. Yeah? That's where you rest your fingers. How did you find it, doing it for that longer period of time? Easy?
Remembering. For me.
Sorry?
Remember the order.
Remembering the order. Yeah, it takes practice. If you're newer to it, just start simple. You don't have to do the whole thing. The most important thing in pranayama is that you feel relaxed. The moment you get stressed in pranayama, you're messing with your nervous system. Not a good idea. And it will put you off. So you always just go back to the step where you're comfortable, and then you keep doing that step until the progression comes naturally. That's true of pranayama, true of meditation, and true of definitely mudras in asana. You can get away with pushing yourself a little bit in asana, but you can't in the other things. Okay?
The shoulder. Holding the shoulder up.
Yeah. Well, the way you're doing it with your arm too far away from the body, what you want to do is get in a position where you rest the arm on the body. You do see people doing pranayama like this, but I mean, it's just you want your shoulders down. When you lift your arm up off the body, what eventually happens is the shoulder comes up and you get more tense. But if you can rest the arm on the body and bring the hand across, it works a lot better. Okay? Do you want to know about Tratak now? Who's done Tratak before? Okay. Okay, so we're going to do Tratak, and it will be we're going to do probably near getting on for nearly 25 minutes of meditation. So it'll be the longest meditation we've done so far. And so Tratak, I'm going to read a little bit from this book, which I really love. I like hippie yoga books. This is a book called Yoga, Tantra and Meditation in Daily Life. And you know it's a hippie yoga book because all the people in the pictures are hippies. And it's a guy called Swami Janakananda. And Swami Janakananda was the leader of the Scandinavian yoga school and a direct disciple of Swami Satchidananda Saraswati of the Bihar school, who was a student of Swami Shivananda. And so this is a book that he wrote, and in this tradition, Tratak's a really big deal. They do a lot of Tratak in Bihar. I'll just read a little bit for you. Tratak has many potential uses. The word can quite simply be translated as intense concentration or gaze. Tratak is part of Hatha Yoga as a cleansing process and of Raja Yoga as a concentration method. So Hatha Yoga is the practice of purification of the body and the prana. So in Hatha Yoga, Tratak is used as an eye exercise to strengthen and purify the eyes. And in that practice, what you do is you gaze at the brightest part of the candle until your eyes stream. And you keep your eyes open and you just let your eyes stream until it gets too intense and you close your eyes. And then you rest your eyes and you open, do the same again. And it's very purifying for the eyes and it strengthens the eye muscles. And then Raja Yoga means the yoga of kings or the yoga of meditation. And Raja Yoga, it's a preliminary practice, a dharana, concentration practice that prepares one for deep meditation. And that's how we're going to use it today, amongst other things. Through Tratak, you increase your ability to hold your mind on one thing, concentrated, as long as possible. This not only builds up concentration, but also willpower and the ability to use your energy and yourself economically. So it's very connected with prana, because prana is essentially, we're looking at the light outside of the body, where the prana is essentially the light inside the body. And the two things get connected in Tratak. But the technique should be done in an easy and relaxed way. So it's important not to strain the eyes. When you're doing it as a kriya, which we're not, that's slightly different. You do it to quite an intense way. But in meditation, the idea is that the gaze is receptive. If you're in class this week, I talked about that with the concept of gazing on the deity, on a deity form. And it's that idea that when you look into the deity's eyes, you're not projecting your prana you're receiving the prana from the deity into your own mind body. And this is the same with the Tratak. You're not trying to project your prana out by gazing or staring at the candle. You're gazing with a very soft gaze, so you receive the prana. Light is prana. Fire is prana. It's one of the elements. The sun is prana. This represents the sun. You're receiving the sun. You're receiving the prana into your eyes and into your body and into your mind. So the gaze has to be soft and receptive. The gaze isn't gross. Does that make sense? So that makes it relax. Tratak can be used as a therapy, which we've talked about, a concentration system. And then he goes on to say, by arresting the unconscious movements of the eyes, tensions are released in the brain. Tratak thus eliminates fatigue and results in natural, effortless concentration. So this thing of like, when we're thinking, the eyes are always moving, even in sleep. When we're dreaming, the eyes are always moving. So when the eyes are moving, the brain is active. When you focus your gaze on one point and you hold it there, the brain the mind just starts to slow down. There's less action, there's less activity in the mind. And that's one of the things that this is doing. It brings the mind right down to a single point, ekagrata. And it makes the mind really concentrated. And if you get your mind into that state with Tratak, and then you want to drop into the chakra in your heart or your third eye and meditate your mantra, you'll just be there. And you'll drop into deeper meditation really easily. So this is a similar kind of technique, not similar technique, but a similar idea to what we're doing in Soham. When we do the Soham meditation, moving the prana in the spine and visualizing or feeling whatever we're doing, that is a preliminary technique. So that when you drop the Soham and you drop into the chakra of your choice and begin the meditation, deep meditation becomes much easier to you. This is a similar idea. You can use it as a standalone practice, but you can also use it as a preliminary practice for deeper states of meditation. Okay, is that clear? But the most important, so are you with me so far? Yeah, there's something that you need to know which people don't really talk about much, which is actually more important than any of that stuff. The most important thing about Tratak is that it opens the third eye. So the third eye is in the Brahmadya here. You see it's where people put the tikka. Yeah? Now the third eye is the eye of intuition. And the idea is that Tratak gives you a deep connection to your inner prana. The outer prana and the inner prana unite in the third eye. Because that is where you'll be when you close your eyes, visualizing the candle, the bright light. And that stimulates the third eye, and the third eye is like the portal to inner states of consciousness, clarity, awareness, and intuition. And when you're in that position where the mind is really, really quiet and the third eye is open through the practice of Tratak, then that's where you can hear the voice from beyond, if you listen very carefully. Okay. So if you're on the back row, we've got two people without a candle, yeah? So that's probably the best thing, easiest thing for you to do would be to come and sit in that space there and that space there, and just angle yourself so you're not looking directly into the eyes of the Jane and Carmela, and then you can share these two candles at the front. Okay, if you just set yourself up now, you want the candle at roughly eye level and arm's distance away from your eyes. So just move yourself around so you're comfortable. Any questions before we begin? Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. If you have pain, sitting, do anything you can. Sit against the wall, sit on a chair, so that you're not in pain. Nobody can meditate in pain unless you want to just meditate on pain. Oh, it has lit. We want that flame to be bigger, so we'll just see if it grows. If not, yeah, that one's not going to work. I'll come back to you. And if you're online, if you could get your candle lit and ready at eye level, arm's length away from the body. You could be a bit closer, I think.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. What's happening with your candle? I'm going to get you another candle. Huh? Oh, hang on. I've got one here. It's going all right now. Is that all right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, everybody's candles going. You okay there? See, if you really want the Rolls Royce of Tratak stands, you can get one of these.
I did notice that.
Or you can use an old banister, that's fine. Okay, come into a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes. Bring your hands into a comfortable position for meditation. Relax your forehead, space between your eyebrows. Relax your eyes, all the muscles around your eyes. The upper palate drop. Release the soft palate. Release the tongue. Make sure the jaw is relaxed. Relax the neck and the throat. And just lift the chest slightly and draw your shoulders back and down. Connect your sit bones to your seat and lengthen your inner front spine. Balance your head so it feels weightless. And then come into your natural breath with no J sound. Just watch the breath as it moves in through the tips of the nostrils. And the breath as it flows out through the tips of the nostrils. So you just feel the touch of the slightly cooler air moving in at the tips of the nostrils. And slightly warmer, moistened air moving out. ready, very slowly open your eyes and gaze at the brightest part of the candle flame. Keep that gaze soft and relaxed. Keep the eye muscles relaxed. And just let your gaze settle on the brightest part of the flame. And receive the light into your eyes. And let your natural breath flow. Try to avoid blinking or moving the eyes in any way. Just keep the eyes steady on the flame. Just let your mind settle into it. When a thought rises in your mind, it's absolutely fine. But just keep bringing your awareness back to the brightest part of the candle and let the thought pass. Keep your gaze soft. Receive the light into your eyes. It fills the space where your thoughts would be. And then close your eyes. Very gently, slowly close your eyes. And just allow your eyes to completely relax. The muscles around your eyes completely relax. And see if the after image of the candle flame appears in the screen of your forehead, in the space between your eyebrows. If it does, just be aware, gradually watch and witness the flame or the light. If it doesn't appear, that's okay too. Just witness whatever appears in the screen of your forehead. And whatever appears, you just witness. If the image of the flame is moving around, if you can make it steady, a little bit stiller. And make sure your eyes are completely relaxed. And then very slowly open your eyes and gaze at the flame. Your eyes don't want to be wide. The lids can be heavy. So you can connect to the brightest part of the flame. Do your best not to blink. Okay if you need to, but do your best not to. Keep your eyes very still. And then gently close your eyes. And again, relax your eyes completely, the muscles around your eyes. And as the eyes recede a little bit, witness any after image that appears in your eyebrow center. and the screen of your forehead. Keep the upper palate dropped. Keep tension out the face. And slowly open the eyes. If it becomes too intense for you at any point, just rest your eyes, close your eyes for a while. And then gently close your eyes. And this time we're going to keep sitting with the eyes closed and witnessing whatever is appearing in the screen of the forehead and the eyebrow center. When that image starts to fade, draw the prana back a little bit more towards the center of the skull, in line with your eyebrows, and rest the prana there. Take your time if you still have the light, and stay with the light. When you feel ready, draw the prana back deeper inside the head. Rest your awareness there. And begin to repeat the mantra Om, or your personal mantra with your breath. You're just transitioning from one form of the divine to another. You don't have to concentrate or do anything now. You just rest the prana, keep it still in the third eye, and allow the mantra to repeat itself in your mind and your body. Just listen for the mantra in your natural breath. Keep your eyes and your forehead relaxed. then let go of the mantra. And place of focus. Just sit quietly. Try and sit still for a little bit longer. Just be aware of the quality of your mind and the spaciousness, peace. If there's something about which you need inspirational clarity, bring that to your mind and listen. Listen carefully. To any guidance that may arise. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Together. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Chant together. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, bow your head. Remind yourself of the intention made for your practice. Om Bolo Sakros Bhagavan Ki Jai. Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste. Okay, so the final thing I would like to say is that all these things we've been doing, all the different techniques of pranayama, all the different techniques of meditation, essentially they're just techniques. So they have a purpose for purification of the body, of the prana, which we've talked about a lot. This term has been predominantly about understanding the prana and the way that directly affects the mind. When we can have some control over the breath, we have some control over the prana, gives us some control over the mind. And that gives us the gift of having a spiritual practice in our lives. And we need a spiritual practice in our lives if we want to evolve as human beings. And the most important thing that we need right now on this planet is human beings who are evolving. And the way you can tell whether or not you're evolving is whether or not you're becoming more compassionate. This practice is pointless. It doesn't matter how long you can hold your breath for. The practice should make you more compassionate towards yourself, towards your loved ones, to every other human being, to every being who's suffering, human being suffering, animal being suffering, nature being suffering. You should begin to feel more deeply. And the way the world is at the moment, that feeling more deeply might make you think, how could I ever be happy? But the purpose of a spiritual practice is to allow you to find not necessarily happiness, not jolly, jolly happiness, but contentment and understanding and a deep sense of belonging and comfort within your own self that allows you to feel that compassion deeply and then share it. That's what yoga's for. And that's our job as a yogi. That's how you know if it's working. You should become gradually a more and more feeling and compassionate person. Simple. Namaste. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this term and you learned something. I quite enjoyed it. I've probably given you enough information for about the next 5 years, but just go away and kind of do what you can with it and know that I am always here to help you and answer your questions about your pranayama meditation practice. So if you're online or if you're in the room, that's kind of my role. So always feel free to ask, don't struggle. There's a way around all this stuff. And in pranayama meditation, there's lots of subtle differences that come up, and we're all very different. Our karmas are different, our life experiences are different, our stages of life are different, our genders different. All these kind of things make a difference to the way we respond to pranayama meditation. And there's always a way to make it work. The main thing is to do it. Namaste.